This week, we wrap our hands around Choker, swing through the latest issues of Spider-Man, and interview Wasteland and Dead Space writer Antony Johnston. In the future, the lifestyle drugs of choice are black market DNA enhancements. This is the world of... Stop it. This is the world of fan favorite Ben Templesmith and newcomer Ben McCool's new comic, Stop It. Their new comic, Choker. Choker is a science fiction noir about a retired detective in a world where biotech crime runs rampant who is called back by the police to solve one more crime. Shades of Blade Runner? Sure, but that's not a bad thing, not when it's done this well. Ben McCool makes the concept his own, elegantly introducing all the elements without boring exposition. Special attention should be given to McCool's rich dialogue, not since cable TV's Deadwood has such an enjoyable mix of vocabulary and cursing come together. Templesmith once again knocks it out of the park in the art department. He has long mastered illustrating horrible people enjoying doing horrible things to each other, but he also delivers on the quieter moments that round out even the roughest characters with bittersweet cores. Rich coloring completes the package, adding an extra emotional charge to the scenes. Choker kicks off to a promising start with issue number 1 coming out this week. We give it 4.5 oranges out of 5. Also launching this week is another sci-fi thriller. In Ghost Project by Joe Harris and Steve Ralston, the ghosts of Cold War experiments literally haunt the present. It's a bit of a slow start, but the mystery is intriguing and the art is great. It gets 3.5 oranges. Many of you have asked us to cover Marvel's Spider-Man. Recently, the company has been putting everyone's friendly neighborhood wall crawler through the gauntlet, featuring classic villains, favorite writers such as Mark Waid and Joe Kelly, and artists who serve some retro cool pencils. Issue number 620 continues the great 4-orange run, which you can easily swing into anytime. Mark Waid also scripts Disney's Incredibles from Boom Studios with Landry Walker and art by Marcio Takara and Ramanda Camarga. It's a fun title that picks up where the classic Pixar film left off. We give it 3.5 oranges. This week we interview Antony Johnston, writer of Wasteland and Dead Space.
Wasteland's been going on for quite a while now. How much longer do you think you'll be working on Wasteland?
Probably about another 3 years. We're aiming for between 50 to 60 issues in total. The last arc is actually already written. I know exactly how it's going to end. We just have to actually get there. And I don't know exactly how long that will take.
How did you go about promoting it?
It was all pretty much grassroots. I mean, the book's a labour of love for me. It's an idea that I had like 18 years ago and was kind of bubbling under in the back of my mind ever since. So when the time came to actually put it out, it was a sort of make or break thing. I was like, I'm really going to push this book hard because I really wanted it to survive. So I went out to all the new comics podcasts and we did a lot of promotion online, did a lot of interviews. We really just tried to make sure that people were aware of it.
When you're writing, do you ever think of the possibility of any of your work becoming movies?
Well, actually, one of my books was recently optioned, Julius, which was an adaptation of Julius Caesar I did, but set in the London gangster underworld, was optioned last year. It's not something I think about when I'm writing. I don't object to it at all. I mean, I've written adaptations of stuff myself, so I don't have any objection to it, but I don't let it influence what I write or how I write. My job is to make the best comic I can.
So what about Dead Space, which you adapted from video game to comic book?
Yeah, that was interesting. I mean, it wasn't a straight adaptation. Ben Templesmith and I did a prequel to the video game that actually came out before the video game. But they gave us a pretty free rein to do pretty much whatever we wanted to do. And that was good because it ties back to what I was saying. I concentrated on just making a really good comic rather than trying to pander to what I thought the audience might want or being concerned about how much money was behind the video game and everything. I was just like, no, let's just really make the absolute best comic we can.
What are you working on right now?
Right now, I'm just finishing up the script for a graphic novel called Cold City, which is a Cold War spy thriller set in Berlin in the last 10 days before the Berlin Wall came down.
What influenced that for you?
A number of things. I really like spy thrillers. I enjoy reading it. I enjoy writing them. And it's the 20th anniversary of the wall coming down this year. So I just thought it would be something nice to do to kind of commemorate it and a good time to revisit it and look at all the kind of shenanigans that went on in the city, because it was a hotbed of spies and secret agents and all that sort of thing.
For more information on Antony Johnston, check out his website at antonyjohnston.com or follow him on Twitter as @AntonyJohnston. Well, that's it for this week. Don't forget, you can subscribe to our show free on iTunes, YouTube, or an RSS reader of your choice. Go to acomicbookorange.com/subscribe for details. And I'll see you next week for another episode of A Comic Book Orange. This week we interview Antony Johnston, writer of Wasteland and Dead Space. This week we interview Antony Johnston, writer of Wasteland and Dead Zone. Space! Fucking hell! This week we interview Antony Johnston, writer of Wasteland and Dead Space.